Hi everyone, Simply Strength. I hope you're all enjoying your Sunday. I know I am. It's freezing cold here. I've got the fire on and a mug of coffee. I thought that in today's video I'd do a reaction to a piece that Mark Ripto from Starting Strength posted on. It came up in my Facebook originally. And it's called Pajama Boy Redux, the Male in Modern Society. And it's available over at PJ Media. I do have a lot of time for Rip because he's got a very strident and blunt outlook on the concept of masculinity and notions of manhood. So I certainly would advise you to check out his books. The Starting Strength, Basic Barbell Training, and Practical Programming. I do think they should be part of everyone's library, purely for your own health and personal development. But anyway, I strongly advise you to go and check out his article. It talks about Pajama Boy being an archetype of the new style of male. And then he refers to the New York Times list of 27 ways to be a modern man. And this sort of fascinated me, and I thought I'd go and check out these points. So I brought up the original article on the New York Times by Brian Lombardi from September the 29th of this year. And I thought I'd go down some of these points and really just react to them. I did go through them the other night, but it was really amusing. And then I looked for more general articles of how to be a real man and found one over on Elite Daily. I don't really follow Elite Daily or any of their publications and posts, but I do understand that they get some stick as being misogynistic, but I'll make my own mind up. So the first article I'll go through is the 27 ways to be a modern man. Number 1. When the modern man buys shoes for his spouse, he doesn't have to ask her sister for the size, and he knows which brands run big or small. In this modern era where everything is 100 miles an hour, how are we supposed to remember every little aspect? Remembering the shoe size is one thing, but remembering whether certain brands run big or small, I mean, it's kind of pernicious, isn't it, to think that a guy could remember all of that and remember what work he needs to do on the house, or the DIY jobs he's got to do, the aspects of his job that need doing, putting food on the table. In fact, what about his leisure time? Surely he's allowed some time for himself. Point number 2, the modern man never lets other people know when his confidence has sunk. He acts as if everything is going swimmingly until it is. Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. It's really important to maintain your confidence and attitude, even if things are getting you down. You can almost fake it till you make it. Number 3, the modern man is considerate. At the movie theatre, he won't munch down a mouthful of popcorn during a quiet moment. He waits for some ruckus. I've never consciously done that. If I have done that, it's subconscious. It's not actually a conscious effort. And if you are making a conscious effort, maybe you're, it's a waste of mental resources. Number 4, the modern man doesn't cut the fatty or charred bits off his fillet. Every bit of steak is a privilege, and it all goes down the hatch. I'll give you that one. Yes, I certainly do eat all of the fat on my bacon and steak and everything else. I throw nothing away. Number 5, the modern man won't blow 10 minutes of his life looking for the best parking spot. He finds a reasonable one and puts his car between the lines. I take a while to park because I try and park away from where all the other sodding cars are. Because no matter where I park the car in the car park, someone always parks next to me, like they need a friend. I park miles out of the way, so I am away from everyone else, and especially if it's a supermarket where people are bringing their trolleys around and they can bash into your car. And B, so that actually I can have I can unconsciously walk towards the supermarket or wherever I'm going in that car park, so I get, some unconscious exercise. Number 6, before the modern man heads off to bed, he makes sure his spouse's phone and his kids' electronic devices are charging for the night. What the hell is that? Surely you should be teaching your wife and kids to be responsible for their own devices. If he runs out of juice, then surely that's their fault. Why are you going around making sure things are... You need to teach these people to be responsible. Ridiculous. The modern man buys only regular colas, like Coke or Dr. Pepper. If you walk into his house looking for a Mountain Dew, he'll show you the door. Well, what's wrong with trying something new? I really think you should broaden your horizons if you are going to drink Coke and all these other beverages as like a treat or something like that. I would certainly try everything. Me personally, I do like my craft ales, and I try as many of them as possible. So if someone comes into my house, they won't know what I've got from week to week because it's always changing. Variety, the spice of life. Number 8. The modern man uses the proper names for things. For example, he'll say helicopter, not chopper, like some gauche simpleton. Oh, I think that's how you pronounce that. In my opinion, the modern man will pronounce the word however he feels like it, or refer to it as whatever term he deems to be appropriate. Personally, myself, I like to use the correct terms for things, but I'm not about to infringe on someone else's self-determination by saying that they can't. Number 9, having a daughter makes the modern man more of a complete person. He learns new stuff every day. No mention of sons in this piece, so I'm assuming the guy is a feminist. How does it make the modern man more of a complete person? Apparently, by learning new stuff every day. Surely he should be learning new stuff every day just as a matter of existence. He doesn't need to have a daughter to make that a reality. Number 10, the modern man makes sure the dishes on the rack have dried completely before putting them away. That he does. Sometimes I'll dry them as soon as possible just to get the job done. Other times, if I do leave them on the rack to dry completely, it's because I can't be bothered or I have more pressing matters to deal with. Number 11, the modern man has never pinned a tweet and he never will. I don't know what pinning a tweet is, and perhaps I should, but I really couldn't care less about that aspect of tweeting. I just tweet. I don't pin things. Number 12, the modern man checks the status of his Irish Spring bar before jumping in for a wash. Too small, it gets swapped out. I don't know what an Irish Spring bar is, so perhaps that's something I should go and read up about. Number 13, the modern man listens to Wu-Tang at least once a week. This is just a trivial point. If you don't like that sort of music, don't listen to it. The modern man still jots down his grocery list on a piece of scratch paper. The market is no place for his face to be buried in the phone. Well, I think even a cursory look at modern society would suggest that people they have their head in the phones all the time, more than actually engaging with other people. So I don't think it necessarily is a bad thing relative to the rest of society if you're walking around the market with your phone out. It's okay to do it in every other location in life, so I don't think this really matters. Number 15, the modern man has hardwood flooring. His children can detect his mood from the stamp of his Kenneth Cole Oxfords. Perhaps you should be more direct with your children and actually tell them what mood you're in, and they shouldn't really have to decipher what mood you're in from the sound of your shoes on the floor. Perhaps you should just be direct and be honest, like a real man. Number 16, the modern man lies on the side of the bed closer to the door. If an intruder gets in, he will try to fight him off so that his wife has a chance to get away. What about the strong, independent women? Why does it have to be the guy that is the sacrificial lamb that gets stabbed? It harks back to the Bill Burr sketch where it's if a building's on fire, all the feminists suddenly say, help me, get me out, be a strong man, etc. I can't remember it word for word, but really funny sketch. So yeah, the man is the guy who has to lay down his life for others, for his wife, even though they're supposed to be equal in this modern society. He has to fight the intruder off. He has to get killed, stabbed, shot, wounded. In this country, probably go to jail for wounding the intruder. Ugh. Number 17. Does the modern man have a melon baller? What do you think? How else would the cantaloupe, watermelon and honeydew he serves be so uniformly shaped? What a pretentious point. I don't even understand half of it. Number 18. The modern man has thought seriously about buying a shoehorn. I don't know what a shoehorn is and I've never used one. Number 19. The modern man buys fresh flowers more to surprise his wife than to say he is sorry. Oh, okay. I'll be interested to see what the feminine equivalent of that is. So it's a guy who just has to remember, oh, I need to surprise my wife, buying flowers. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Well, to be honest, yeah, the modern man really, a real man wouldn't get married in the first place. So he wouldn't be even having to worry about that aspect. Number 20. On occasion, the modern man is the little spoon. Some nights when he is feeling down or vulnerable, he needs an emotional and physical shield. Oh, no, he really doesn't. I think if you are honest enough to admit that you need emotional support or some form of therapy or counselling, then you should get therapy or counselling. And there should be no stigma around that. You should do it and see it as a positive outcome. Number 21. The modern man doesn't scold his daughter when she sneezes while eating an apple donut, even if the pieces fly everywhere. Who's ever done that? I've never seen in 28 years of existence of someone eating a donut and then sneezing while they're eating it and pieces flying all over the place. And I've never even seen their father in the vicinity scolding them. I just think it's a trivial point, and it sort of sums up the tone of this article. Number 22. The modern man still ambles half naked down his driveway each morning to scoop up a crisp newspaper. No, the modern man should actually get some clothes on and walk to the newsagents or the shop to pick the paper up, so then at least that way he goes out, gets some fresh air, exercises his cardiovasculature and improves his health. 23. The modern man has all of Michael Mann's films on Blu-ray or whatever the highest quality thing is at the time. Yes, I agree with this point. I am a fan of Michael Mann's films. I've not seen all of them, obviously, but Last of the Mohicans, great film. Heat. Heat, in fact, is a must-watch and a must-own. One of the best films of all time, in my view. The gunfight where they rob the bank is brilliant. Number 24. The modern man doesn't get hung up on his phone's battery percentage. If it needs to run flat, so be it. Personally, when my phone runs flat and I haven't got a charger to hand, that really annoys me, because sometimes I need to check my emails and not so much tweets, but just I like to use the internet for information, keep up to date, sometimes watch YouTube, keep up with videos. Yeah, so I do get hung up on it purely because it's a fact of life now. Number 25. The modern man has no use for a gun. He doesn't own one and he never will. Why is that? I mean, if I lived in the States, for example, I would own a gun. Not just for self-defense purposes. It would obviously be kept in a safe, under lock and key. Only I would use it. I would get training in how to use it effectively. And I would only use it in those circumstances, strictly for self-defense. Technically, you can have a massive debate about the Second Amendment and so on. But, if I'm a burglar, I'm less likely to try and rob someone's house if they've got an AR-15. This is just a fact of life. I mean, there's a Second Amendment for a reason. In countries like mine, where guns are controlled quite strictly. I mean, you've seen in Paris, where guns are really tightly controlled. In that, the Bataclan theatre or hotel, whatever it was, If someone had a conceal and carry license, I strongly suspect that, a lot of those, they wouldn't have let themselves just be shot and butchered. They would have, taken some of these guys out and toned down instead of waiting for the police to arrive. Ridiculous. So a gun in a responsible and sane person's hands is just a tool, and that's it. It's a tool to be respected. So a modern man does have a use for a gun in the right situation and context. Here we just get plain stupid. Number 26. The modern man cries. He cries often. About what? I mean, I can remember in the past sort of, 10 years. I've probably cried like 3 times in like 10 years. And I can't even remember what it was for, but I don't know. I mean, this year I've had 2 great aunts pass away within the space of like 2 months, and I was sad, sure, but I don't remember crying about it. I don't know, maybe I'm cold, but I just think, I don't know, if you're a strong person or resilient person, it's got to be something pretty bad, or you've got to have a real sort of outbreak of stress or something really impactful that brings you to those emotions. I mean, sometimes you might get choked up if you're watching I watched a documentary not too long ago. It was the untold history of the United States, and the sort of ending scene got me choked up a little bit, and I'm not even American, but I didn't cry. I just got choked up. And I think if you can be honest about that and just readily admit it to people, then you've got nothing, you're not insecure in any way, and you're not overly sensitive. But in terms of full-on crying, it would have to be something fairly impactful. So certainly not often, no. And the last one, number 27, people aren't sure if the modern man is a good dancer or not. That is, until the DJ plays his jam and he goes out there and puts on a clinic. I have considered learning how to dance, but I'm not a dancer at all. I've got no coordination. I'm terrible at dancing, and I'm not very confident at all, even when I've had a lot to drink. That's just the way it is. And I don't think it's a marker of a modern man at all. I mean, it's just something that people trained in and can do it. I mean, I've thought about, since watching some of Aaron Clary's videos, going in there and doing it as just to build another social group in my life. But there's something about it. I don't know what it is. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's manly. I mean, in my definition of sort of manly stuff is either being at the gym, doing some barbell training, chopping trees down, climbing, outdoor pursuits, sports, studying. Even it doesn't have to be outdoor sort of tasks like that. It can be studying, can be working in a science lab. There's lots of things, lots of application for anything where really you're grafting, trying to improve, trying to better yourself. There's lots of application for masculine activities. I just don't think that dancing is a prerequisite to be a man. So that's that piece. Really, I think it's 95% garbage. But the other one on Elite Daily, I thought I would share with you, called The 20 Defining Traits of the Real Modern Man. And I'll include links to all of the articles that I've mentioned in this video. It's by Rebecca Strong. Now, most of you will be saying, well, why are you reading an article on how to be a man written by a woman? It's like me. It's like one of us guys writing a piece about how to be a real woman, or how to, cope with pregnancy. It's like, how the hell will we know? But anyway, nevertheless, I just thought it would be good for comedic value. Number 1, real men have a simple, classic standby cocktail or beer they can order with ease, so as never to be the D-bag at the bar, hemming and hawing indecisively while perusing a menu. A real man will not care what other people think of him. while he's choosing his stuff. A real man will just stand there and take as long as he damn well likes. Me personally, I'm fairly easygoing, so I just choose something and eat it. But personally, yeah, I think a real man would just not care what people think of him, and he'd take as long as he likes. Certainly, if he's out for a date with a woman, it's like, I'll take as long as I like choosing my food or drink. Number 2, real men also know your go-to drink by heart and make sure you never have an empty glass. Well, why can't women speak up? I mean, they should speak up and say. Why does it have to be the guy that has to psychologically read their minds? ESP. It's crazy. Number 3, real men can fix their own mistakes. That means when they get lost, they swallow their pride and stop for directions. I never have to stop for directions because I have a sat-nav, and I've also got a GPS on my phone. So I rarely have to ask for directions, but if I did, then I would. Number 4, real men don't dwell on their insecurities or fears, but acknowledge that they exist. Once in a while, they might even lower their guards and let you in on the things that scare them, but then they'll just get back to conquering them. Yeah, mixed feelings on this one. I think that you should acknowledge your insecurities or fears, but also outline a plan of how to address them, or, as I said earlier in this video, seek out the correct support, therapy, or develop a program of how to address them. This is just being honest with yourself. The only person that matters in your life is you. From that perspective, you need to be absolutely honest with yourself. Number 5, real men think about their mothers, worry about their mothers, and are grateful for their mothers. I do that, of course. Obviously, I've got a closer relationship with my mother because I'm estranged from my father, but I can understand that people that do still have functioning relationships with their father would feel offended that there isn't a point here about, you could say exactly the same about fathers. Overall, I mean. Number 6, real men do not take selfies, the occasional ludicrous Snapchat, of course, being an exception. No, I'd go even further. I really hate selfies, and I really hate Snapchat. I don't use it. I don't see any point in it, and that's just my view. Number 7, real men will never invite you back to their apartment unless it's at least somewhat presentable. Well, a real man wouldn't care, again, what anyone thinks. I mean, it's in my opinion, it's really important to be clean and organised and have everything sorted and presentable. But I appreciate that other people don't, and whilst I would sort of distance myself from people that live in a dump, that's entirely their remit. If they want to live like that, then I'm not about to say you can't. And these expectations and the entitlement level, she's basically asking them to roll out the red carpet before inviting them back. Number 8, real men have at least 2 or 3 dishes they can cook well, just in case they need to impress you. Unless they have serious culinary prowess, they will probably make these meals during the first few months of dating and run out of options, so you better grow to love them. So what's the guy got to do? Has he got to learn how to be a Michelin chef? Just dishing up variety on a regular basis? Where's the reciprocity here? Number 9, real men spend time putting themselves together, but never more than you. I personally don't. I get up in the morning, have a shower, have a wash, shave if necessary, and do my teeth. The whole business takes about 15 minutes. And because ultimately, the more time I waste on all those aspects, the less time I have for doing things that actually add to my growth. Obviously, I want to present myself in the best way possible, but I mean, life is far too short to be spending it all in the bathroom or the shower. So I would rather put that time into writing a blog post, or filming a video like this, or reading a book, or working on my job. So, yeah, I would truly emphasize that point. Number 10, real men do not diet. They may attempt to eat healthier for various reasons, but this will never involve shunning entire food groups, dumping Splendor into their coffee, and obsessively counting calories. Disagree. I think that if you need to count calories to achieve your dietary goals and body composition goals, then you should. If you need to obsessively do it, I mean, an obsessive mindset can be useful when applied correctly. So if you want to use apps or measure out food portions and that's what makes you happy, then go for it. And ignore what this stupid idiot says in this article. Number 11, real men call when it's practical, period. Well, how's he supposed to know? How are we supposed to know when it's practical? Just work it out. Just use ESP again. Honestly, it's ridiculous. We've got these arbitrary and abstract notions of what a real man is, and it's being defined by a woman. Number 12. Real men never tell the waiter we're all set when asked about dessert without consulting you. They look at you for the cue. Again, mind reading. Mind reading. It's up to you to say, no, we're not ready. It's about being a grown-up. Number 13. Real men are passionate about something, and it's not just weed or their new Nikes. I agree with this point. I think that to be an alpha or a strong masculine figure, you do need to have a passion, whether that could certainly be your job or a hobby or something. You need something that you can put all your energy into that's not, your girlfriend or your sex life or your children, or you need something. I mean, there's people in my family who, one individual in fact, has a passion for flying planes. So he, takes himself off to the airfield when he's got time and just totally forgetting. When he's up in the air, all he can think about is flying, because that's so important. Looking at the instruments and just thinking and looking out over the landscape. That's his passion, and we all need, I have several, but we all need at least one. Number 14. Real men don't need to make fun of other guys to boost their own self-confidence, but they can definitely make fun of themselves. Yeah, again, I agree with this one. I think, me personally, I never intentionally make fun of others. I mean, obviously you have banter with you. I hate that word. Why do I use that word? I hate the word banter. I detest it. I hate it. It's what you see I've got friends who've got Tinder profiles and it's always banter. I hate the word banter. But, you have just playful comments between good friends and it's not taken seriously, obviously, because it's not meant to be serious. I've never intentionally made fun of people just to boost my self-esteem, and I certainly don't take myself seriously, so. Number 15. Real men have goals. They might seem lofty or completely absurd, but they're working towards something, and that's what matters. If it's lofty, it doesn't matter, does it? In terms of, I'd rather aim higher. I'd rather aim as high as possible and not quite reach it and still have accomplished a lot than aim too low. So it doesn't matter about it being lofty. And whether or not a guy's goals or ambitions are completely absurd doesn't matter to you. Being a woman, does it? I mean, what's what makes him happy and what he's working towards, and that's all that matters. Whether your opinion of whether it's absurd or not is inconsequential. Number 16. Real men don't take themselves too seriously. That's why they can grow a ridiculous stash for Movember, and they can handle all of the harsh criticism from friends. They know deep down it's for a good cause. Yes. A ridiculous stash for Movember. How do they get away with these sort of comments? I mean, they know the Movember is for men's causes and men's health. If someone came out and said, a male in an article about how to be a real woman, and someone came out and insulted Wear It Pink Day or you know, when everyone goes and wears pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Day and said it was ridiculous, they would have vitriol thrown at them. It's ridiculous. Harsh criticism from friends. No one's criticised me during Movember, especially not friends, for sort of showing solidarity with men's health. I don't understand where this sort of comes from. Number 17, real men will do things like carry your purse if need be, or buy tampons. It may be awkward, but they suck it up because they're comfortable with their masculinity. A real man wouldn't even regard it as being sort of awkward, and they just buy it because it's a fact of life. I mean, they have to buy condoms, so, you know, what difference does that make? But, I mean, carrying your purse, I mean, is it that heavy? Really? Number 18, real men don't apologise if they don't last long during sex, but they do make damn sure you get off. Make of that one what you will. Number 19, real men are not lovers or fighters, they are both simultaneously. This is another point that sort of betrays the entitlement attitude of a lot of women, in terms of they want the man to be absolutely everything, all in one package. Just, nostalgic and, I don't know, sort of sexist in a way. I don't know. Let me know what you guys make of this article. And the last point, number 20, real men have had a dog, currently have a dog, or eventually would like to have a dog. I swear they write these articles just to provoke anger. And just a cursory look at the comments will sort of show you sort of the opinions going around. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't believe I've been sat here for 40 minutes criticising these articles, but I certainly think that you shouldn't let these pieces define your masculinity. You should define your own masculinity, and that's the bottom line, I think. So I hope you enjoy this video, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye bye.